Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here this morning. I'm just grateful and thankful for another Lord's Day. For this is the day that the Lord has made, and I shall rejoice and be glad in it. It's just a pleasure to be able to study with you once again today. Once again, we're studying in the Bible expository. And this week, our lesson is titled Saul's Disobedience Under Pressure. You remember last week, God anointed Saul as king of Israel. This week, we're going to talk about Saul's disobedience under pressure. Our lesson text is coming from 1 Samuel 13, verses 5 through 14. Now, a couple things. Our lesson jumped from chapter 10 to chapter 13. So I will take some time to recap what has gone on in chapters 11 and chapters 12, just so that we can be up to date. And so for the last couple weeks, I've been talking about Saul, Israel's king, and I promise I will try my best not to get Saul and Samuel mixed up today. But I'm going to take a minute to recap for you chapters 8 through 12, which is going to bring us right up to where we are today in chapter 13. So chapter 8, Saul was an old man. His sons were crooked. The elders of Israel decided that they needed a king. They demanded a king, mostly because they wanted to be like the other nations. And to the prophet's amazement, to Samuel's amazement, God granted Israel's their request. Chapter 9, Saul's father's donkeys go missing. And Saul and his servant goes out looking for them and meets Samuel, the prophet, along the way. Samuel prepares a feast and tells Saul that he's destined to become Israel's new king. Chapter 10, when Saul returned home, Samuel gathered the people at Mizpah, and Samuel and God publicly anointed Saul as the king of Israel, as the first king of Israel. Chapter 11, here comes Saul's first challenge as the new king. The Amorites came upon them. They threatened to torture the people of Jabez Gilead. They told those people that they was going to gorge out their right eye because they had nobody to save them. The people said, let us, give us a couple of days. Let us go see if we can find somebody who's going to come and rescue us. And all the meanwhile, when the word got back to Saul assembled 330,000 troops and defeats the Amorites. And the people celebrated Saul's kingship at Gilgal. Chapter 12. Samuel is at the end of his ministry. And so he delivers this great speech about being faithful to the Lord, about being obedient to the Lord. He criticizes the people for requesting a king. He brings a miraculous